Welcome, Niclas, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about the halo effect. This is a huge band into the melodic death metal around the world now. There's a lot of people expecting this release Days of the Lost, and we will talk about from this new record and more things related to the metal world. So starting with the question, how you been during these crazy times? We started the pandemic 2 years ago. Now you have an award in Europe. That's a curious thing. So perhaps who knows what happened next couple of years? Alien invasion, the machines takes the power. So who knows what happened next couple of years?
Oh, who knows? Who knows? We're actually living in troubled times, and it's scary times. But we try to make the most of it, and try to be safe and really care about one another, and really with a big heart and with a lot of love. Try to create music and stay healthy and sane.
Okay. So who came with the idea to form a band like the Halo Effect? Because there's Jesper Strömbal, Daniel Svensson, Peter Ewers, you, Michael Lesave, are great representations of melodic death metal from Swedish. Who came with the idea?
It was actually a long one coming, because Daniel and Peter asked me to join in and just have a jam some days, so just a weekend jam, just hang out and have fun and play some songs. And I didn't have the time back then because I was touring, and we had this band called We Sell the Dead going. And me and Michael always met up and talking about festivals, albums, music, and Candlemas, of course. And just hanging out. And me and Michael happened to be on the same train from Stockholm to Gothenburg. And we talked about all these topics about the new bands like Paul Bearer and all this sleep kind of doom sludgy thing, which we both love a lot, and bonded over the festival like Roadburn and such. Anyway, and after a couple of beers, and we were kind of, why don't we play? Why don't we make up some music and just enjoy doing what we love to do? Yeah, just see what we can do about this. And then, it ended at the end station. Bye-bye, talk to you soon. And 2 years later, something like that, everyone tagged up, and then we maybe we should ask the wizard Jesper Strömbal to join in, and then we had a meeting, and then we from that on, okay, let's do something, let's make music, just go for it.
Okay. So can we say that these Days of the Lost was recorded and composed during this pandemic completely?
It was actually a beginning. It was in late 2019 we started to do the demos. I think it was in late November, early December. We did Shadow Minds, Days of the Lost, and Feel What I Believe. And from that on, we started to write the music, and then we ended up in a pandemic. Wow. And then we just continued to record and just rehearsed and stuff.
Okay. So let's talk about from this new album. Who was in charge to do the whole the composition process? Or perhaps you have compared I love share songs with Jesper Strömbal, because for all of us, a lot of fans around the world thinks that Jesper Strömbal was a genius, since In Flames to other bands, Cypher. There's a lot of background there. So how do you share the elements in composition process with Jesper, with a huge I think one of the huge names into the melodic death metal?
Yeah. He's a genius. He's a wizard. We just started off writing the first song was called Gateways. It's on the album, which is really, really mellow, but haunting and eerie, creepy vibe, like a horror movie kind of thing. But then opens up on the chorus, which makes it really big and epic. And then we would just continue writing. Writing and rehearsing, and we did this together as a team. Everyone had the saying or let's change that arrangement, or just go for this and that riffage. And even though me and Jesper had the skeletons of songs ready for recording and such, but everyone filled in with what they wanted to do with arrangement and stuff.
Okay. And how do you see now the huge impact that this band has across the social media? As you can see, when you are now with the old band announced that you will produce a new album, the social media explode with a lot of comments, a lot of sealed articles in Metal Injection, Metal Hammer, and more magazines that this first album is one of the most expected albums from this year, especially because all of your five are one of the biggest musicians into the melodic death metal stuff.
It's overwhelming, and we are all very, very happy about this. We didn't see this coming. We really worked hard on this, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and we just follow our hearts and just had fun with it, and didn't tend to overthink what we should do or anything like that. We got this, and we know what we want to do. We had some kind of we had a vision and a goal with everything. So hearing these words is just overwhelming, and we're so blessed to be doing this. Thank you so much.
Okay, and how was the reception the last presentations with the Halo Effect Alive?
I mean, we did our first show at Sweden Rock, and we just had our fourth single out the day previously. So we actually had 4 songs out which people have heard, and we played. This is just insane. We did the whole album, the first show we ever did together, like front to back. And that's insane. And people, was banging and really rocking out to the songs they never heard before, which is just rare. And a lot of fun. That was, amazing feeling to do that.
Okay. So talking about the influence into the band, when I hear a lot of times these are Days of Loss, I hear a lot of from Michaelis from Dark Tranquility voice is very recognizable. His voice from Dark Tranquility. Then I hear a lot from influence in Flames times, from old times, Engelin times. So a lot of influence there. So perhaps do you want to afraid to some people related with your previous band than the common sound into the Halo Effect?
I mean, we've been doing this for so long. We've been into the genre for 30 years, and we started out in 89, 90. We just did go for it. We didn't know what we did back then. We just played music because we loved music, and especially heavy metal, of course, and death metal and thrash metal. So I think, one riffage, as in Truth Worth Lying For, the verse riffage, I wrote that one in 1991. That was really, I just tried it out when we were writing the music to that song, and it just blended in perfectly, it just fit. So it's music throughout all the years. It's just, I'm a collector of riffage. I love riffage, and that's what you get. This is just us, and we are doing what we all have done for so long, and we don't tend to overthink stuff. We just go with what we believe in and feel what is right for us. And this is what you get. So it's a lot of love. It's a lot of heart behind this album.
Yes. I feel that. When I hear all album, there's a pure heart into the old song. So, but relating to this, for you, which songs represents the whole concept of the album? Now we are living in single times for the new generation to hear just 1, 2, 3 singles through the digital platforms. For you, which song captured the whole essence from the Halo Effect and this new album?
Wow. That's a tough one. Just one song. I would say what pops up into mind is like Feel What I Believe, the second single. It got all the melodies, and it's got this drive, and it's force behind the song. And it's kind of in your face, but with a lot of melodies to it, which I really like.
Okay. So Talking about from this new album, the last two songs, especially Last of Our Kind and The Most Alone, has more alternative and new metal stuff into there. What is part of your influence? I found a lot of new inter sounds into the last two songs. So how was the composition, especially from The Most Alone?
The Most Alone, it's a dun, 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 dun. I had a vibe when I wrote those melodies. I had a vibe when you're driving quite fast throughout a big city, and you're driving really late at night. It's only the lights are on, but you're driving and you get the lights. Dun, 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 dun. You are going somewhere. You're on the move. That's what I wanted to do with that song, and to keep it moving forward. That was really important. But I think it's still all the ingredients of the Gothenburg death metal into that song, and also as the previous one before that. It's just with all the cello and the violin, and then it kicks in full blown. It's totally Gothenburg death metal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's Gothenburg death metal.
Yeah, it's a kind of a celebration to the whole genre.
Yes. So, well, talking about especially from especially now, all of bands, all of you has a lot different bands or came from the different backgrounds. Especially Mikael Stein came from Dark Tranquility, one of the biggest bands into the melodic metal now. So how do you manage the time with him, because he will be busy with a lot of tours with Dark Tranquility, and you are busy with the Halo Effect, and Jesper has a lot of projects into his hands. It was very difficult to know when we will play live both, especially if we try to see the Halo Effect with this huge success of a lot of media press. So perhaps in the future you will have troubles to play both across together and during a tour in Latin America or US, etc.
Yeah. No. That was one of the topics we talked about really carefully when we started this. We are ahead of the time. We are planning all the time, and we're having a great communication and talk all the time about what's happening and what we want to do and etc. And we want to really fly with the Halo Effect and put it on the map. And that takes planning. We are planning a calendar and really get into the whole thing of the Halo Effect.
Okay. And who came with the idea to do the lyrics about the chaos theory?
Excuse me?
So the lyrics talks about the chaos theory and into this day of law. So I try to see how can we relate the name of the band, the Halo Effect, with the days of loss and with the lyrics that reflects a lot of concepts into the theory of chaos. So who came with the idea to relate all these aspects?
It was actually Michael. Michael is the true artist and the poet within the band who has this. He writes all the lyrics, and it's very important to him. And the lyrics itself is a celebration to the genre of Gothenburg death metal and how we grew up with that, how we formed it, and who we are today from contra who we were back then when we like formative years.
Okay. So talking about other aspects into the metal, especially when now the music industry changed a lot since the 60s. So because now the generation, this new generation, as I said, prefers to hear the music with 1, 2, 3 songs, especially from an album. For me, I love whole songs from this Day of Loss. I did my pre-order as soon as I saw into the digital purpose to buy it. So I'm a huge fan for all music from all of you, because you are part of my childhood when I was a younger. So
thank you.
Into this matter. So why the albums now doesn't have the same impact compared to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s? Because as I said, the generation prefers to hear 1 single, 2 singles, and not more.
It's a different genre. I remember back in the 80s when I started out listening to, embracing heavy metal, and all things heavy metal. Dio was coming out with the album Sacred Heart, and I was maybe in the 6th grade or something like that, and they had his single out, Hungry for Heaven. Amazing single. It was just a physical single, but just a bonus track on B-side. And then we have to wait until September for the album to come. And that was a magic behind that, because you were playing the single back to back throughout the whole summer. And then the album drops the same day when we started school again. I remember this. And then at the same day, we saw a big poster. Dio is coming to Gothenburg in November. My God, we gotta buy the tickets. And that was magic about that.
Yeah.
And you could only read it in magazines, maybe hear some snippets of some songs on the radio, and maybe some interviews with Ronnie or Vivian Campbell, or some member from the band. And that was a magic behind that. You have to think about it. Maybe they're living like this. Yeah, he's living in a castle. It's a knight. You were making up stories within the mind and between your friends. You were like, oh, this is so good. You were waiting for it. And that created a special magic, a special moment, because when the album hit the shelves, you were there. First day buyer, buying the album and go home and just listen to Sacred Heart. My God, king of rock and roll. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's magic to that. And today's society is totally different. I mean, I can look at my kids when they're playing music. Yeah, I love this artist. Yeah, what's the name of the song? I don't know. Number 5 is good, and number 7. Yeah, they don't know. They don't care. Give me the song. It's another thing nowadays.
Yeah. Yes. Well, no. When I born in the 80s, so I totally understood what you said about it. When I got my first time for a tape or a CD for the first time, I hear a lot of times until the end, until the CD broke with a lot.
Exactly.
But now it's different. The people prefer to hear with one singles, and if you put one single and doesn't like the people, next. Yeah.
You don't have the time to. You don't take the time to dive into the music. I mean, buying your favorite album coming out of the store, you're actually holding it in your hand. Whether it's CD or vinyl, you just got it. Magic. I need to get home. Straight away.
Yeah. So it was a totally different sensation or feeling. Now it's different. So relating to this, how do you see now the music industry, especially into the melodic death metal? Because as you can see, especially for the digital platforms, we can see a lot of productions coming day by day. I think 20 or 30 albums, EPs per day. It's amazing. This now compared to the 80s and 90s, we have, I don't know, in the 1991, just 30 albums for death metal or melodic death metal. But now 30 albums in one day. That's a huge difference. So how do you see now the new bands, the music industry, and now the movement of the melodic death metal stuff now?
I mean, I think the movement is really good. It's healthy, strong, which I really, really proud and happy about. And we're living in these times. I mean, you can make an album at the living room, just by the computer, just go for it, and then it's done. Back in the 80s, 90s, you have this filter you had to kind of go through, get signed, and it was another generation. It was another thinking, I think, with all the tape trading, building your own fan base. Yeah, we got that too, of course. But I think the production was warmer and more. Not this digitalized. It's more. I prefer the 80s. 90s.
Yeah, 80s and 90s was a huge years. Well, huge decades especially for the extreme music. So relating to we are very close to this interview, and Niclas. And what are the future plans that the band has for these days of Lost? Because perhaps more videos upcoming, perhaps more gigs, perhaps an unknown tour that we don't know, perhaps a Latin American tour, because if with your lineup, a lot of promoters here in Latin America wants to hire up, because you are stars for a lot of people. As a lot of articles I said are stars from the melodic death metal era. So without lines, it's impossible to not come here to Latin America and see you alive.
Oh, no. It's just a blessing. Thank you so much. I mean, we started with the Sweden Rock Festival, and we will continue with festivals in Slovakia, Turkey, Japan, and we'll play this year in Wacken, Germany, which is just awesome. And then we will continue doing a tour through Europe, Scandinavia, and the UK with Amon Amarth and Machine Head for 7 weeks, which is gonna be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we will the sad times arrive at this interview, Niclas.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this one as I did. And it's a really pleasure to talk with you. Really well, as I said, I did my pre-order. Congratulations for this new upcoming amazing album, Days of Loss. I really enjoy all songs. So, and perhaps we want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metallarium followers.
My God, I wish I would love to come over and play our music to you and just see your happy faces again and big horns and just have fun. It's gonna be amazing.